Right now, without moving a muscle, you are aging at two different speeds. The top of your head is getting older faster than the soles of your feet. And before you roll your eyes and reach for the comment box, no, this is not a trick of blood flow or posture or some wellness nonsense. It is physics, deliberate, cold, measured, laboratory-confirmed physics. The clock in your skull and the clock in your heels genuinely disagree about how much time has passed. You have been walking around your entire life inside two different presents, and you never once noticed. And the people who named this didn't work at some clickbait channel. They worked at the United States government's National Timekeeping Lab, and they measured it. So sit still, and let me take apart a comfortable little idea you've been carrying since childhood. Here is the idea. You think time is a backdrop, a stage, something that just ticks along in the background at one steady rate, for everyone and everything, everywhere, always. A second for you is a second for me is a second for the clock on the wall. That is the answer almost everybody gives. And it is wrong, not slightly wrong. Wrong at the foundation. Let me show you why, and I want you to actually think, not just nod along. Picture a rocket, far out in empty space, engines firing, excited, accelerating harder and harder. Inside, one clock is bolted to the nose, another to the tail. The nose clock sends a flash of light down to the tail, once every second. But the ship is speeding up the whole time that light is traveling. So by the moment each flash arrives, the tail has picked up a little extra speed, rushing to meet the light. The flashes arrive early. The tail looks up at the nose clock and sees it ticking fast. Nothing is broken here. No clock is lying. The one up front in the direction of the acceleration simply runs quicker than the one in back. Higher up means faster time. Sit with that, because we are about to do something very uncomfortable with it. Now here is the move that gave Einstein a private thrill he called the happiest thought of his life. Stand in that accelerating rocket and stand on the surface of the Earth, and there is no experiment you can run to tell the two situations apart. The pull you feel in your feet on the ground and the push of the floor in the rocket are the same thing wearing different clothes. Gravity is acceleration. And if acceleration makes the higher clock run faster, then gravity has to do the exact same thing. Richard Feynman walked his students straight through this. Put two identical clocks in a gravitational field, one high, one low, and the high one runs fast compared to the low one. Not because of how they are built, because of where they sit. You already see where this is going. Your head is high. Your feet are low. Your head sits in very slightly weaker gravity, a little farther from the center of the Earth. And so the time at your head runs quicker than the time at your feet. Stop and feel how strange that is for a second. There is no single moment called now for your body. Quietly, your face is living a hair further into the future than your knees. So how much quicker? There is a clean little relationship for it. The gap in clock rate is gravity times height, divided by the speed of light squared. And the speed of light squared is an obscene number, excited, about 90 quadrillion. That monster sits at the bottom of the fraction and crushes the whole effect down to almost nothing. For the 1.5 meters or so from your feet to your scalp, your head runs fast by about 2 parts in 10,000 trillion. Almost nothing. But almost nothing is not nothing. Let it run for a lifetime, 80-some years, and it quietly adds up. That same National Timekeeping Lab put a real number on it. Raise a clock by about a foot, and over a human lifetime it gains somewhere around 90 billionths of a second. Your scalp will very literally be a sliver of a heartbeat older than your soles on the day they lower you into the ground. At this point, a reasonable person pushes back. Sarcastic. Fine, cute math, but nobody has ever actually caught time doing this. Except they have, over and over. And this is where I stop being annoyed with you and start showing off mischievously, because the experiments are beautiful. 1959, Harvard. Two physicists named Pound-Rebka fire gamma rays up a 22-meter tower and catch the light shifting by exactly the amount gravity demands. 1971, two more researchers load atomic clocks onto ordinary commercial airliners, fly them around the world, and land to find that the flying clocks disagree with the ones left at home. right down to the billionths of a second the theory ordered up. They booked the clocks their own seats under the name Mr. Clock. Think about the sheer nerve of that. Strapping the most precise machines humanity had ever built into economy seats, flying them around the planet just to ask whether the sky keeps a different clock than the ground. It does. The sky won. Then it gets ridiculous. By 2010, that same lab built optical clocks so precise they could measure the difference across 33 centimeters. They lifted a clock by the height of a single step on a staircase and watched time speed up. And in 2022, a team in Colorado split time across a single millimeter, the width of a pencil tip, catching the top of a tiny cloud of atoms aging faster than the bottom of the very same cloud. Same cloud, same instant, two different rates of time pulled apart across a gap you could barely see with your eye. And if you are still telling yourself this all stays locked inside laboratories, reach into your pocket. The GPS in your phone leans on satellites whose clocks tick faster than yours because they sit higher up in Earth's gravity. About 38 millionths of a second every single day. Ignore that, refuse to correct for it, and within one day your navigation drifts by roughly 10 kilometers. Your maps would be useless by lunchtime. Every turn you have ever been guided through was quietly paying its respects to the fact that your head and your feet live in different times. So here is where I change my tone, because you have earned it. You walked in thinking this was a curiosity, a party fact, a rounding error you could file away and forget. It is none of those things. It is a crack in the floor of reality, and if you lean over it, slows down, you can see something enormous underneath. Time is not the stage. Time is not some universal metronome ticking away behind the scenes while matter does its dance out front. Time is part of the scenery. It bends. It has texture. It runs at different speeds in different places, and mass is the thing that sets the speed. Every lump of matter in the universe, you included, drags on the flow of time around it. The earth under your feet is not only pulling you down, it is slowing you down, easing back your clock, moment by moment, and it does it a touch more to your feet than to your face. Quietly, you have been standing on a machine that edits time your whole life and calling it the floor, which means you are not standing in time. You are standing in a slope of it. Right this second, your body bridges a tiny gradient, a whole smear of slightly different nows, running from the floor up to the crown of your head. The distance is small, so the difference is small. But small and zero are not the same country, and almost the whole of modern physics lives in the gap between them. You are not one clock. You never were. Feynman had a friend, an artist, who liked to say that a scientist takes a flower apart and murders its beauty in the process. Feynman thought that was exactly backwards. He could see everything the artist saw, and then he could see further. The cells, the evolution, the reason the color is even there. The understanding did not drain the wonder out of the flower. It poured more in. That is the trade I am offering you. I took away your cozy little notion that a second is just a second. Excited, and look what you get in return. A universe where time itself has a shape, where your own body is standing, proof of it, where the plain ground under your shoes is bending the hours. That is not mysterious. That is magnificent. And you would never have laid eyes on it if I had let you keep the easy answer. So the next time you catch your own reflection, remember what you are actually looking at. Not one person, one age, one clock, a living stack of slightly different times, your scalp forever creeping a hair ahead of your heels, the whole of you draped across the bend that an entire planet puts into time. You came in here certain you knew what a second was. Quietly, you leave knowing better. And knowing better was always the point. If sitting inside a bent piece of time for 12 minutes did something to you, subscribe. Next, I am taking apart another thing you are absolutely sure you understand and showing you the machinery humming underneath it. It is already waiting for you on screen. Go on. You clearly cannot leave a comfortable assumption alone anymore.